Alright, good morning. So we're going to talk about a couple things. I woke up in the middle of the night early this morning and I had to write something in my journal, which is important if you don't have a journal by the side of your bed to write down your dreams, to write down anything that you come up with, that whatever comes up, you need to start doing it now. Because today we are going to talk about human evolution, the Great Awakening, and the Second Coming. Okay? I know that's a lot of stuff to put in at one time, but where we are, people really need to understand what's really going on. Okay? This whole COVID-19 thing, see through it all. None of it, it's ridiculous, okay? So, human evolution. There's something going on with the human evolution that people have known for thousands and thousands of years, okay? People have called it Kundalini, people have called it Shakti, divine energy, the whole Christians call it the Holy Spirit. Whatever you want to call it, Chi, Reiki, whatever, it doesn't matter what you call it. The fact of the matter is, it's still a physical piece inside of you, and it's an actual radiation energy that rises as energy comes through and presses negative energy out. So that's actually the human evolution of what's actually happening. Okay, so I don't want this to go too religious, but it just needs to be, the truth just needs to come out of what's really happening to people. So people can latch on to this stuff and see what's happening to me, I don't know what's going on, what's my experiences, what's going on in the world. They need a place to have answers, and not just the same videos, people put out the same stuff over and over and over again. New information, real stuff, really happening to real people, okay? That's what we're gonna talk about today, so I hope you're ready for it. I tried to do a Facebook Live, didn't work out. Maybe I'll throw some more Facebook Lives or something like that later on. But as of right now, this just needs to get out. So human evolution. Human evolution, let's go back to Jesus, okay? Jesus was able to, 13 years old, he took off and he wanted to learn about things. When he learned about stuff, he learned about things that we learn about now, but people look over. It's like the chakras. How many chakras do you have? People think about 7 chakras in the body. How many do you actually have, okay? So you have 12. So people that don't understand this stuff, people that are new to this, you have 12 chakras. You have 12 in the body, you have 7 in the body from the root to the top of your head, and then you have 5 above your body. Okay, and that is leading into your spirit. And maybe I'll make another video that talks about more about those things, but as in right now, we're just going to talk about human evolution, okay? Something that people just understand, a change in the human being, okay? Doesn't matter what culture you are, doesn't matter what country you are, doesn't matter what hemisphere you are in this planet, you are a human being, just like any other species on this earth, okay? So, human being is going through an evolutionary process. 2 parts, okay? People are calling it a spiritual awakening, to where you wake up one morning and you have a realization of an idea and you're like, wait a second, there's more going on. It's not, I don't just wake up, this is not just the world, this is not the world I live in, there's actually way more that's actually going on. And you start to ask questions, okay? That is a spiritual awakening, okay? All that is a part of your brain opening up for you to understand, flashlights, hey, there's something going on, okay? So, that's a spiritual awakening, okay? The other part of it is the physical awakening that actually happens to you in a physical manner, okay? Inside your body, okay? So this is really, really important for people to understand. Scientists grasp onto this crap because it's true and it's real, I know, because it's my direct experience, okay? So this is it. So you go through the different chakras, okay? So you have this spiritual awakening to start to question things, lead you down a path of watching videos, what's going on, questioning everything of what's going on. Then what comes later is a physical awakening of a radiation energy inside your body. Whenever this physical avatar, form, whatever you want to call it, vessel, gets to a certain piece of balance of positive and negative polarity energy, something inside of you, which is a radiation energy lying at the base of your spine. People call it Kundalini, people call it Shakti. The fact is, it's a radiation energy inside of your body getting ready to raise and get to certain points to teach you different things, to understand different things, to see the world in different ways, but to rid this physical form of negative polarity, okay? Negative and positive polarity. That's it. It's just about polarity, okay? So polarity, so the human evolution, where that comes in is as this physical radiation actually inside of you starts to raise up your spine, it hits different centers which are real in your physical form, okay? You can't see this energy. As you go on further, you'll be able to develop this stuff and see it physically, but as of when in the beginning, you may not. And people are going to go through this physical evolution in different ways. Some people will have a full awakening depending on what's been, how they worked on it. And the reincarnation, that we're going to get to at a later point, because that is absolutely real. People need to come to terms with that stuff. And this is where the separation of our world starts to change. People start to go to the truth, and people that are still asleep, well, you'll still see them asleep because they're going to start talking like they're still in a dream. They can't remember. Just like when you wake up from a dream, you can't remember your dream. Those people are still asleep. It's okay. They just haven't woke up, and they haven't remembered that they don't remember the dream. They don't remember yet. The people that are awake, they're kind of sleepy-eyed, or maybe full awake, whatever it may be. It's evolution will take different aspects into different people depending on where you are, okay? So that being said, as this rises, it will hit different parts of your physical being within your body, whether it be going through survival, pleasure, your solar plexus, standing firm, your heart, wherever it may be, it's going to rise, okay? This is a real evolution actually happening to people, okay? This is not conspiracy, this is real. This is what people call the Great Awakening, okay? The Great Awakening. All the Great Awakening is a human being evolutionary process that is real, okay? And it's about ridding this world, this place, this being in different forms of the negative polarity so we can go to the positive polarity, okay? That's all it is. So whenever you're looking at the news, whenever you're looking at those things, fear, anger, all those things, those are negative polarities. We are able to change now. And since we're able to change, we are going to go through this process, okay? Get ready. Nobody can stop this. No one will be able to stop this because this is nature. This is the way it's supposed to be. You can't get past it, okay? So as you see your world, the world that we're currently in, you'll start to see the polarities change. Some people will choose not to evolve. Maybe they're not ready at this time, but you're going to start to see over the next 2 years, this great awakening, more and more and more and more people, doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, culture makes no difference who you are, this is going to take place across the world on a massive scale. Because as something becomes, as the waters start to rise and the wave of something starts to happen, a critical mass starts to take place. You see it in business, you see it in popularity, you see it in a lot of different things. People start to gravitate and start to understand, it starts to hit a certain, critical mass of people. The next 2 years, this is going to happen. I don't know whether it's going to happen to you individually, but you make that choice. You have different ways to be able to make your evolutionary process more rapid. And if you want to, I have a video called Divine Tones, Meditation Game, and that type of thing. I think it was my last video I put. Go ahead, check that out if you want to see actually how to speed up your evolutionary process, okay? So, that being said, so this is, people need to come to terms with, this is a real evolutionary process that's actually happening. And the popularity of the new earth, the new age culture, they're calling it the Great Awakening, because you're literally waking up. Something is literally waking up inside of you. And every religion across the world has a different term for what this actually is, okay? The Christians, like I said, the Holy Spirit. If you connect with that, use it. If you're a Hindu and you want to call it the Kundalini or Shakti, they call it that. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter what you call it. The fact of the matter is, it's real, okay? So as you go through this process, you'll start to understand different things. You're going to start to look at different things in different ways, okay? In the Bible, yes, I'm going to quote, because the part of this video is the second coming. Everybody knows the second coming of the Christ, the second coming of God. Whatever you want to call it, across the world, religions, it doesn't matter. It's a second something or other, right? Okay, so that being said, through this evolutionary process that has been prophesied for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, you chose to be here at this time to take place in this process. You need to come to terms with that. Okay? Science is going to come and prove these things very soon. Okay, you're going to start to see, oh well, science has understood that there's 11 dimensions of the brain. No, there's actually more than that. There's actually 12. And the over part is that, there's 11 dimensions of the brain, and the 12 is God. It's actually God consciousness, okay? So that being said, the second coming in the Bible, it says, Jesus says, when I come again, everybody will know the truth. Everybody will know the truth, okay? And I'm going to tell you exactly how this is happening and how this is going to happen, how everybody is going to know the truth through our evolutionary process that's happening right now, okay? So watch this. As this divine energy, this radiation energy, this chi energy, this Shakti energy, this Holy Spirit energy, whatever terminology that you want to use, when that rises up, and it comes up to your throat, to your third eye, to your crown, once it hits your brain, that's when magic happens. And whenever I say magic, your brain, that energy, if you're meditating and focusing on these things and around people and positive and focus, it's going to happen. The more you just allow it to happen, it's going to evolve the other dimensions of your brain. Opening up dormant areas of your brain that lie dormant, maybe don't use them very much, languages, different perspectives, reading, writing, creativity, tapping into different things, many, many different levels. That's when you're tapping in to the evolutionary process of the brain itself. And scientifically, this is what they're saying, the 11 dimensions of the brain. But no, they're wrong, they just haven't found the last one, which is God. It's 12, okay? So as this starts to go into your brain, evolution really starts to happen. It starts to open up different parts of your brain. You're just going to be able to see things differently. And clarity will be able to come. Maybe people will have a higher IQ. I don't know how this is going to go. I can just go off of my experience. But I know for a fact that I am not the same person as I was, 7 months ago. Totally different person. I was the biggest carnivore. I was the biggest alcoholic drinker. Ask any of my family, anybody that would ever know me, that's who I was. That being said, come here. Yeah, I was the biggest alcoholic, just sit right here for a moment.
Okay.
I was the biggest alcoholic and the biggest carnivore that ever. But guess what? Now I went to vegetarian. I'm now 100% vegan. I've lost like 60 pounds. I don't work out. It's the evolutionary process that's ridding this body of negative polarity to add more to the positive polarity. Was I the biggest like carnivore?
Yes.
I mean, Southeast Asian food, spicy food. Does anybody know lap? Holy smokes, raw meat. That was my jam. That was my favorite. Now I can't even stand it because of what is happening to this vessel in a physical manner. Now I'm gravitating from, you know, 7-day vegan challenge, you know, vegan food to straight raw foods. Foods that actually have sunlight, that give them energy. You know, any vegetable or food that needs sunlight, that energy, you put that in your body. That's what you really need. And eventually, you're not gonna need any food at all, and it's just gonna be sunlight, which is a trip, and that's something we'll talk about at a later time, because I can only go off of my experience. So I just wanted you to confirm that, you know, that's who I was. I was a normal guy, ambitious, hustle. That's the way, you know. But as this starts to happen to you, don't get afraid. Don't be fearful, but get excited that this is happening, because other things are gonna start to come up that's gonna bring up ridiculous, horrible things in your life. Whatever you've done, whatever's been done to you, those are the things that have to be get out of this physical form. It has to be rid out of your body in order for the rest of the evolution to be able to take place. And so that being said, this whole COVID-19 junk and all this conspiracy stuff, get it out of your head. It doesn't matter. All that crap is just junk. What's really happening is the human being is evolving. And the people that aren't evolving, that are at the lower polarity or the negative polarity or whatever you want to call that polarity, you know, the negative force, the force if you like Star Wars, you know, whatever, you know, it's whatever you like, that polarity, people are going to be afraid of this polarity because this polarity has no fear.
Can we clarify? I think there's a lot of people are expecting a man to come back. Maybe clarify that.
So people are expecting this man, the second coming of the Christ. Okay, so how does the second coming, the Great Awakening, and the human being evolution all go together? Okay, so the second coming in the Bible, it says, everybody will know my name. Everybody will know the truth. There will not be a rock unturned that you will not be able to see me. Okay, so taking the biblical point that everybody can kind of, you know, connect with. If you don't know the spiritual age or know whatever else is going on and you're thinking all these people are a bunch of weirdos, okay, think Christianity, think that. Okay, the second coming of the Christ. Second coming of the Christ and how it goes to the rest of these other things is the physical energy, the divine radiation inside of your body rising to your brain. Once it gets to your brain, and I said it starts to evolve and it starts to open up different aspects of the brain. You start to see something different, you start to see things different whenever it gets to here, but up here it starts to open up everything in the brain. And whenever that opens up, you tap into knowledge from places that you don't have to read a book. You don't have to, and that's one thing that people don't understand too. And through this evolutionary process, there's many ways to gain knowledge. You don't have to gain knowledge through me telling you. You don't have to gain knowledge to reading a book. Those are just different. Okay, well, in order for you to learn something, you have to be able to listen. You have to be able to learn a language in order for that language to come through and you understand what that language means. Okay? So that into consideration, you have to learn that. If you want to gain knowledge by a book, you'll have to learn how to read in order to learn how to read a book. Now, through this new evolutionary process, you can, as your brain starts to evolve and this energy starts to flow, you can tap into different places, which are frequencies. Maybe if you go to different places, they call them downloads, but it's different ways that you learn to acquire knowledge from the masses, okay? And this is a new, different, evolutionary way to gain knowledge, okay? And just as a television has a frequency that we have an antenna that goes to the frequency that puts a picture out, you see the picture? We have an antenna that tunes into a frequency that if the frequency is solid enough, it creates a picture which brings a vision in your brain. Boop! And that is knowledge. Through that, however you are in that body, if you can receive, if you can feel, I can hear those frequencies, that vibration, and your body is at a point to where it can accept those frequencies, then you're going to be able to be like that antenna, hit the frequency and be able to broadcast that signal, okay? This is a real evolutionary process to gain knowledge, okay? And gurus have talked about it, many other people have talked about it, but it's a new way of doing it. It's our evolutionary process, okay? So now, what do? What a tornado of information. So we've talked about evolution, we've talked about the Great Awakening, and we've talked about the second coming and how it all ties in together.
I think one thing like I was mentioning earlier.
We've got about 5 minutes.
Okay. Just quickly is, the whole Jesus coming and the second coming, that's what I was saying, is just to clarify, there's not an actual man coming. There's a lot of people that are expecting a man to come, and they're not realizing that the whole second coming has to do with the Great Awakening, not a man coming down, and that's something that maybe so maybe I'll go into more about the second coming of the biblical, religious, and that type of thing. But I know that touching on a little bit here it's not a man coming down and the heavens apart and it comes down and flows down and we all see this person. It's a dogmatic.
That is a dogmatic point of view that people need to get past and understand. Jesus, that was a real person. That was a real, true example of the capabilities and the amazing things that we can realize within ourselves
when you become as enlightened as
when
Jesus.
you become as enlightened as Jesus, going through all 12 chakras. But as you go through this process, you kind of you start to gain other knowledge and clarity and clarification, all these, and so everything that you learn, you start to see for real, okay? But Jesus, God, that's real. That's energy. That's the real divine. But but the way it's really going to come out is the divine energy. It's going to be in you. That's like Jesus said, the kingdom is within you. Jesus said that. It's in the Bible. All Christians, you can't argue that. In the Bible, it says, what does it say? Jesus says the kingdom is within you. The divine energy is within you, the Shakti, the Kundalini, the Chi, whatever you want to call it. The Holy Spirit, it's inside of you, and it's real. And as this is inside of you, that's the second coming. So for everybody that's tripping out right now,
stop looking outside.
Stop looking outside, stop tripping, and start looking within and find the kingdom within. Because the second coming is right now. The second coming, the next 2 years, more and more people are going to see this. They're going to have dreams, they're going to start awakening in different ways, and this evolutionary process is going to take place. So this is going to bring up a lot of questions or whatever. That's great. Bring them. We'll do more videos on real information that's not out there, okay? Because I'm going through YouTube and different places, and it's the same people talking about the same stuff over and over and over. It's repeat. Now we need to talk about real information, the new stuff that's coming down into the pipelines, into the downloads. I know that there's people out there that could be like, hey, That's me. I understand what's going on, okay? So I know I probably in the beginning of this video, I probably should have said subscribe and hit the like button so more people see stuff like this, okay? Because this is real. This is really happening. So I hope this connected with you guys today. I hope you have an amazing day. Look within, start to do your research, start to figure this stuff out, start the path. If this clicked with you, that's wonderful. But
Namaste.
have a beautiful day.